Welcome to Comprehensible English Hour's first podcast. My channel on YouTube has videos for complete beginners, and intermediate learners of English. This podcast will focus on the beginner and intermediate level learners. Thank you for listening to my podcast, and I hope you enjoy today's first episode. So today, I will be introducing myself and my channel and why I am making so much content for English learners. So, my name is Ali, and I live in the United States of America. My job, my profession, is an English teacher. I teach English to students in the public schools in the United States. I first began my language learning journey when I moved to teach English in Japan. I taught in Japan for only 1 year, but I found that there were many methods of learning languages that really didn't work for me. So when I returned to the United States, I really tried to maintain and keep the language skills that I learned in Japan because I had such a hard time getting to the level I got to. I would say I'm maybe lower intermediate, and currently I am using the Krashen method of learning, or the theory that you should always receive input or listen to or learn Japanese through Japanese itself. So watch videos in Japanese, watch TV shows in Japanese, play games in Japanese. Make sure that you learn or listen to Japanese, though, at the appropriate level. A level where you understand enough that you can learn the words that you don't understand in context. But I had a very difficult time finding these materials in Japan, and I relied a lot on textbook learning, which, as everyone probably knows, the language that you learn in a textbook and the language that you hear in everyday life are very, very different. When I returned to the United States to work as a teacher here, many of my students spoke Spanish. And knowing how much of a difficult time I had learning Japanese, I decided to try to learn Spanish to help those students and help their families mainly their families. When I learned Spanish, I tried the textbook method. And obviously, I've already learned that it doesn't work that well. So I did a little research online, and I found that there were many learners learning from a website called Dreaming Spanish. And the theories and the methods that they taught with were methods that I learned as an English teacher in university. These were methods that were very solid methods. Even though it took a lot more time to learn with these methods, it required many, many more hours for it to work. These were solid methods that were proven to be successful, but they're very difficult to find materials for because, again, they take many, many hours. And you have to find things of your specific level for it to work. But Dreaming Spanish, they had hours of content, and I learned Spanish through this method. Now, my speaking might not be the best. I'm currently working on it because most of my input was through reading, through listening, through writing, but I'm lacking in the speaking portion of my Spanish language skills. And currently, I'm trying to use the same method for Japanese, which most people know is a bit more difficult than Spanish, and even more so for me when I have to learn how to read as well. But it worked one time, why couldn't it work a second time? And today I just wanted to create a podcast for those who just want more hours of listening, more time practicing their listening skills, because I myself use podcasts all the time when I'm driving to work, and it seems to be really helpful at the higher, beginner, and intermediate levels for your listening comprehension, because at that level, you can use less pictures and rely more on listening and understanding all of the information using your context clues. And for those who are listening, I work in the United States again, and I work in the Midwest. And the Midwest is mainly the Great Lakes area. And in that area, we are kind of sheltered. We're a bit farther away from the borders of the country. We're near Canada, but they speak English. We're also a bit more far away from areas where there is a high concentration of various languages and immigrants who speak their languages. Maybe in my area, the only place that might have this group of speakers is Chicago, but it is very far away and difficult for me to practice. So I understand if you are in an area where your target language is not very well spoken, and I hope that you can find all of the materials in English that can help you. I also understand it takes a lot of time to get to the level where you can use English for whatever you would like to listen to, whether it be TV shows or music. It takes a lot of time to get to those levels. So podcasts, videos, easily explained gaming is very crucial, very important for you at the beginner and lower intermediate levels. So I hope you can really enjoy the podcast, and I hope you can listen to, or you would want to listen to, the second podcast, which I will try to release weekly. So hopefully this will be a weekly podcast, and it will really help you on your commute, whether you are cleaning your house, doing chores, driving to work, taking a train to work, walking. Whatever you need, I hope this podcast can help you achieve your English learning goals. Thank you very much for watching, and not watching. I'm used to videos. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you can listen to the next podcast, which will come out next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.